Hi everyone. Right, so today I am going to complete our face glass, which I have drawn leaves on to turn it into the green man. Well, that was then. You want to see it now? I shall show you. Non-existent leaves. I can't see anything actually. Let's have a look. They've all, yeah, that's just a mess. Basically, I drew them on at the end of the last video, if you remember, and so because it's a non-permanent pen, it has just diminished. It's just weird. It has soaked into the engraving, but it will wash off incredibly easy. Had it been a permanent one, that would have not come out of the engraving, but certainly does come off the glass, but out the engraving is a different story. But this will wash off the glass, the engraving easily, because it is non-permanent, but hence it's just soaked in and caused a big mushy mess. So I'm going to make it up as I go along. After all, it is all fictitious. It is just leaves, and yeah, and it doesn't matter what leaves they are. I don't know, they might be sort of oakified leaves. And look what I've got lined up. Haha. Reference to bamboo. And shall I show you a sneak preview of what I've done? Have a look at this. I just decided to pick it up and draw on it. So here we have a large flat plate bowl. It is a bowl, as you can see. It's got that kind of look, and I've drawn them on the top, but the engraving will all be underneath, so that you can see the engraving through the glass much better, of course. And if you're going to put cake on or sandwiches or whatever, then none of the food is going to get into the engraving, which wouldn't be a good idea, of course. Right, so that will be coming up. Let me just put this down. Sporting a new little a little hairstyle. I had it all chopped off. Yeah, you may have noticed. Anyway, right, so let's get on with our funny little green man and see what happens. Enjoy. Well, the first thing to do, of course, was get rid of the the rather grotty, smudgy green nonsense going on in this poor fellow's face. And that very easily with a nice clean kitchen towel. Was clean, now it's a bit green, just slightly wet with water, that's all, and most of it has come off just simply by wiping it. Instead of diving straight in with the tools, which I thought I was going to do, I have decided to redraw it with the same pen I used in the beginning. Because I'm going to be engraving it straight away, it's not going to smudge up too quickly, so that is fine. Just a very quick, very rough sketch of these leaves, and a few little twiddly bits. And if you look up the green man on the internet, you will see it's made up of many different kind of leaves, and I've chosen an oaky sort of leaf. As you can see, I've got a reference on my phone just briefly. I'm not going to look at it again, actually. I mean, all I wanted to see was it was a sort of a chunky, very simple shape to do roughly. Here I've got a rat's tail diamond burr, and I am just going to roughly outline the leafy bits on the face with that particular tool, because I want it to I want to be able to see it clearly over the other engraving. Anyway, you can see it already quite clearly. Working dry. It's nice. Oh, well, it wasn't quite as sharp as I thought, and I have decided to sharpen it. Just using a green stone, which is in the drill, and flatten the top. Gets you down to the fresh diamond, which is going down the edges. Now, I don't want necessarily to do the rest of the leaves. You'll see that I do change the burr. I'm really sticking to the face area using this, because I don't like that really sharp diamond outline when I'm doing leaves. So I will be changing to a softer a little green stone. Just very roughly putting in the details. Well, not the details, just the outline. As I say, this leaf, I have not done a botanical study of the oak leaf, not by any stretch of the imagination. It just happens to be a nice shape, an easy to engrave shape, and I just fancied it. This is the little green stone. I always think that it is somewhere between a white Arkansas and a diamond. It's not very sharp. It is just slightly soft. And so I'm going to use this to roughly place in all the leaves that are around the edge of this fellow. Right, so as you can see, I have completed most of the leaves on the outside. I'm not doing any fancy measuring or anything like that. It is just a case of throwing in an area of leaves, and you'll find later on I do add another leaf because I just feel like there's a space down the sort of bottom left of it. Here I've got a very tiny diamond round burr, which I'm roughly putting in the little twiddly bits. Almost like a little vine. I don't think it belongs to the oak. It probably belongs to anything else you can think of, some other kind of foliage. And again, if you look up the Green Man, they have so many different leaves and types of plant growing out of their faces, and often there are berries and these little vine-like bits. So I think it just adds a little dimension, something different, a different texture to the scene, a little frilly, but I rather like the idea. And chuck some berries in anywhere and they look nice, some nice shiny berries. Right, taking the white away so that we can see the engraving now. A little bit of water gets rid of that non-permanent pen. Okay, so we're all ready. It looks quite busy, and I'm about to show you something interesting after I totally messed up the positioning of his facial features when I was beginning the face on the previous video. So what I'm going to do is show you a sketch I have just done, which will better demonstrate where I should have put the eyes. Now, you start with the circle at the top, and then measure halfway in the circle, and then add that sort of distance again at the bottom. Divide the bottom bit into 3, so you've got the bottom of a mouth at that bit, and then the bottom of the nose there, and halfway between the very top and the very bottom are the eyes. Simple as that. And basically the line on the forehead's probably a little bit, I actually don't know why I put that there, quite frankly. It's probably the hairline, but I've given him a higher hairline. Right, so now you look at this face and you think, oh my goodness, his eyes are way too high up. But it doesn't matter, he's a green man, and and you're the boss. You've designed him. Anyway, off we go. Lots of water and a little diamond. Well, it's not too little actually, it's a fair size. And I'm just going to blob out these little leafy bits. Now, what I was trying to say earlier was the shallow leaves, the shallow engraving will be the leaves that are behind the ones in front. Where a leaf is on the front, it will be deeper engraved, so that it appears to be looking out, I'm talking absolute rubbish, so that it appears to be protruding. Oh my goodness. Okay. So this leaf has sort of dent in the middle, and then the dent going out to the edges of the little blobs. And so I'm just blending lightly in places, but initially I'm going relatively deep, so that there are in fact ridges, and then in between the ridges you will see on the middle of the leafy bits. It doesn't sound like I'm making much sense at all, quite frankly. If I don't understand myself, how can you understand me? Never mind, just watch. This glass is actually crystal, and I actually thought it was crystallite, and I might have said that in the previous video when we were doing his face. But I have had a look at the suppliers page, because in actual fact it is beautiful to engrave, and it's a really bright glass, and it is crystal according to the supplier. So there you go. And I'll tell you what, when I completed the entire glass and put it under the lights, it really does vibrate with brilliance. It's just beautiful. So it's lovely and soft to engrave, which is great. But still, the water makes it even softer. If I actually remember to drip my water in the right place, you'll notice I don't think I was even dripping it on it. Oh dear. There we go. And it's actually spraying water everywhere. I haven't got the dust extractor on at the moment. I'm actually listening to the radio. But I have my mask on, and I've got lots of water, so there's not too much dust. and that's fine. But always have your mask on, always, always. Right. In fact, these spits and spots of spray even came up onto the camera lens, so I had to give that a wipe. Not really good for the camera, I don't think, but what can you do? Not a lot, really. Now these bits just grow from anywhere on his face. You just make it up, really. I have sped up. I've sped up the video, so we're going at about 160% of the normal speed. And just so that you can watch quite a lot of it, but not at the real pace. Now, as most of these leaves are on the top, really, you'll find not a lot of the leaf area is actually behind, but so most of what I'm doing is relatively deep, but there are, as I say, there are areas that will be behind, and then I will go slightly shallow. I'm just trying to see. I should be able to pick up when I actually do that, and I'll point it out to you. It's very difficult to show you how heavily I am pressing against the glass just in a video. Of course, it just all looks the same, but I will be working shallow when it's behind. It's quite interesting, isn't it? Now you can see how vibrant this glass is. It's beautiful crystal. What I'm trying to do is show you the depth. Now you can sort of see how deep it is up there. It's nearer the rim, so although it's quite a chunky glass, I'm not going that deep, but it is quite a lot deeper than the face itself. So obviously I have done quite a bit more. Basically, you know you're going deep when I'm actually dripping water. So there's a lot of water going on the glass and it is still producing that dust. That's why, even though you're using water, you must wear a mask. Because, yeah, there's a lot of dust still when I go really deep. Now here I've just added 3 little berries, so they're quite deep. That noise was my phone. I don't know if you heard it. And it's just popped up on the screen as well on the computer to tell me that it's time to rest. I love it. Well, it's 10 o'clock at night, you see, so it's telling me to wind down and rest now. Well, that's too bad because I've got editing to do. Oh, there, that is funny. Again, some more berries up the top here. As you can see, quite deep, so they will stand out nicely. I seem to remember checking this. I think there was the ever so slightest little stress line, but not too bad. So otherwise, I wouldn't be being so aggressive near the rim. But anyway, doesn't matter. So quite a transformation for this chap so far. I think I can refer to it as post-lockdown leaf as opposed to post-lockdown hair. Anyway, what I was showing you there was the smaller white Arkansas burr, which is probably what you would have in your tray, where I am using my very, very, very precious large white Arkansas. I've only got a few of these. I think I've got 3, which I've had for many years, and which I can't get anymore, as I've mentioned before. If anyone can tell me where to get one of these, and it's not like that you can get a large white burr that is quite rough. It is not that. It's got to be very smooth. This is a proper white Arkansas. And all it's doing is no different to the other one. All it's doing is covering a large area because I'm impatient and I want to get it done quickly. So it's just such a great tool. It just smooths out any sort of lumpy bumps on the top ever so slightly, and gives it a surface so there's not any clear glass. And then I can work with that. So it was just sort of filling in the darker areas of the leaves. So now I've got this really tiny diamond, which I am adding the little stems to the berries and then going over the twiddly bits. The difference this time is the fact that I have water, and so the cut is going to be so much cleaner and neater. You can't see this, but all I'm doing is adding little stems and things. If you look sort of sit back and look at the whole thing, and you see an overall kind of shape, and it's just making it pleasing to the eye, the overall shape. And if you do see an odd area which looks or feels like it just needs something, it's maybe just a little bit empty in that area, then just add something. Even the smallest little twiddly bit will balance it up a bit. It's just the look that I'm going for. I mean, you don't have to. And I have noticed, as I mentioned earlier, I noticed that this little area felt like it needed another leaf. So I'm just freehanding in another leaf. Now, there's also, with this glass, of course, it's got a very strange, twisted shape to it. So we're taking that into consideration as well, just so that it all hangs pleasingly when you look at it. Yeah, post-lockdown leaf do. He definitely needs a trim. Here I've got my lovely soft grey rubber, and if you haven't got this particular one, you can still use any other rubber. It just is a softer one, and it's going to give me a gentle shading as I just run it over the leaves. Of course, the first thing that will go dark is the upper area that hasn't been engraved much, because it is sticking up, and what won't necessarily pick up the rubber, or the rubber won't pick it up, as any area that you've engraved deep. And what it does means the deeper area stays whiter, and it looks like it's coming more forward, and that's the whole idea, you see. So when I have shaded, now I'm talking rubbish again, when I have tried to put one leaf behind another leaf and I have gone shallow, that shallow area will be what is being shaded by the rubber first, because it is shallow. It's still on the upper surface of the glass. So where I have gone deep for the leaves that are on the top, they remain deep, the rubber is not getting to them, and they remain white as well. And I mean, you could also polish them sort of by digging into them, but I'm not wanting that. I'm wanting those bits to remain quite white. And so they really look like they're standing out. Here's my small white Arkansas. And I'm going to go into all the berries. Just doing that pre-polishing half tone. I've got to say, when I finish all these little berries, and there's not that many of them. But as I was taking the burr out of the drill, you've got to be careful you don't pull it out with holding the top of it, because let me tell you, it is jolly hot. That little bit of white Arkansas has done quite a lot of speedy work. You will see I press it down, but I do keep lifting it up because I don't want to overheat the glass. It's getting pretty hot anyway. And but this little burr, if you touch it now with your finger, it is really warm. So try not to hold it when you take it out. If you do, just very quickly. I can't say he looks that impressed with me at the moment. Okie dokes. Right, next video coming up very shortly.